Hey everybody, and welcome to another First Chapter Friday. As you can see, I'm just sitting outside. I have a blankie and just trying to get like some fresh air, which always helps me feel better. I'm kind of choosing a different book this year. Today. So this one is called You Are a Badass. By Jen Sincero, and it's on the front page as well. It says how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life, and it is a New York Times bestseller. And I thought too, just because with all this COVID and your situations might be changing, your income might be changing, living situations, things are just kind of in uproar. And I know for me personally, I need consistency and I like a routine. And so with all this going on, I've personally just been really struggling with finding a new rhythm, and especially with my job, with teaching. So much of what I love to do is engage with students. And so I feel like that's changed so much and I don't have the same level of engagement. And so my personal worth and it's changed, and it's hard to find your purpose as strongly when your life is so out there right now. But a few years ago, I was suggested this book and by a life coach that I was seeing, and it really, really helped me refocus myself and put me on a better path. And that was maybe 3 years ago now. And so if you're kind of looking for a sign of what do I need to do here? This is your sign right here. The universe is sending a message to you through me that you should read this book, and it'll help direct the wind to your sails and help you pursue whatever it is you want from life. So I'll read you the first little bit. But in mine, I write different things in it and I highlight and I make it a working piece that you can read through to help you. Okay. So yeah, I'll kind of read you the intro, because there's not really definitive chapters. There's parts and sections, but the intro will very clearly point out to you what this book is and the style it's written in. So a different choice than just a regular novel or memoir, but we gotta mix it up in these times. Okay, so introduction, and I like that she always has a quote at the start of every section. You can start out with nothing, and out of nothing, and out of no way, a way will be made. And so that's a quote at the start from Reverend Michael Bernard, a former drug enthusiast turned spiritual enthusiast turned inspirational badass. I used to think quotes like this were a bunch of crap. I also didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. I mean, not that I cared, I was too cool. What little I knew about the self-help / spiritual world, I found to be unforgivably cheesy. It reeked of desperation. Rah-rah churchiness and unwanted hugs from unappealing strangers. And don't even get me started on how grouchy I used to be about God. At the same time, there was all this stuff about my life that I desperately wanted to change. And had I been able to bulldoze through my holier-than-thou enthusiasm, I could have really used some help around here. I mean, overall, I was doing pretty well. I'd published a couple of books, had a lot of great friends, a close family, an apartment, a car that ran, food, teeth, clothes, clean drinking water. Compared to the majority of the planet, my life was a total cream puff. But compared to what I knew I was capable of, I was, shall we say, unimpressed. I always felt come on, this is the best I can do? Really? I'm going to make just enough to pay my rent this month again, and I'm going to spend another year dating a bunch of weirdos so I can be in all these wobbly, non-committal relationships and create even more drama? Really? And am I seriously going to question what my deeper purpose is and wallow in the misery of that quagmire for the millionth time? It was a snore. I felt like I was going through the motions of living my lukewarm life with the occasional flare-ups of awesomeness here and there. And the most painful part was that deep down, I knew I was a total rock star, that I had the power to give and receive and love with the best of them, that I could leap tall buildings in a single bound and create anything I put my mind to. And what's that? I just got a parking ticket? You've got to be kidding me. Let me see that. I can't afford to pay this. It's like my third one this month. I'm going down there to talk to them right now. Then doop-de-doo, off I'd go, consumed once again by low-level muted, only to find myself a few weeks later wondering where those weeks went by and how it could possibly be that I was still stuck in my rickety-ass apartment eating dollar tacos by myself every night. I'm assuming if you're reading this that there are some areas of your life that aren't looking so good either, and that you know you could be looking a whole lot better. Maybe you're living with your soulmate and are joyfully sharing your gifts with the world, but are so broke that your dog is on his own if he wants to get fed. Maybe you're doing great financially, and you have a deep connection to your higher purpose, but you can't remember the last time you wet your pants laughing. Or maybe you suck equally at all of the above and spend your free time crying, or drinking, or getting pissed off at the meter maids who have the precision timing, no sense of humor, who, in your mind, are partly responsible for your personal financial crisis. Or maybe you have everything you've ever wanted, but for some reason, you still feel unfulfilled. This isn't necessarily about making millions of dollars or helping solve the world's problems or getting your own TV show, unless that's your thing. Your calling could simply be to take care of your family or grow the perfect tulip. This is about getting mighty clear about what makes you happy and what makes you feel the most alive, and then creating it instead of pretending you can't have it, or that you don't deserve it, or that you're a greedy, egomaniacal fathead for wanting more than you already have, or listening to what Dad and Aunt Mary think you should be doing. It's about having the cojones to show up as the brightest, happiest, badassiest version of yourself, whatever that looks like to you. The good news is that in order to do this, all you need to do is make one simple shift. You need to go from wanting to change your life to deciding to change your life. Prom night. You'll probably have to do things you'd never imagined you'd do, because if any of your friends saw you doing it or spending money on it, you'd never live it down, or they'd be concerned about you, or they'd stop being friends with you because now you're all weird and different. You'll have to believe in things you can't see as well as some things that you have full-on proof are possible. You're going to have to push past your fears, fail over and over again, and make a habit of doing things you're not so comfy doing. You're going to have to let go of old limiting beliefs and cling to your decision to create the life you desire, like your life depends on it. Because guess what? Your life does depend on it. As challenging as this may sound, it's nowhere near as brutal as waking up in the middle of the night, feeling like someone parked a car on your chest, crushed under the realization that your life is zooming by and you have yet to start living it in a way that has any real meaning to you. You may have heard stories about people who had these major breakthroughs. When the shit was really about to hit the fan, they found a lump, or got their electricity turned off, or were moments away from making a bad decision when they suddenly woke up transformed. But you don't have to wait until you hit rock bottom to start crawling out of your hole. All you have to do is make the decision, and you can make it right now. There's a great line from the poet Anaïs Nin that reads, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." This is how it was for me, and how I think it is for most people. My journey was a process, and still is. Wilbur. That started with my decision to make some serious changes, regardless of what I had to do to make them. None of the things I'd already tried were working. Mulling it over and over with my equally broke friends and my therapist, working my ass off, going out for a beer, and hoping it would take care of itself. I was at the point where I would try anything to get my act together. And loudy, loudy, loud, loud. It was like the universe was testing me just to see how serious I was. I went to motivational seminars where they made me wear a name tag and high-five the person next to me while shouting, "You're awesome and so am I." I beat a pillow with a baseball bat and shrieked like I was on fire. I bonded with my spirit guide, participated in a group ceremony where I married myself, wrote a love letter to my uterus, read every self-help book under the sun, and spent blood-curdling amounts of money I did not have hiring private coaches. Basically, I took one for the team. If you're new to the self-help world, I'm hoping this book will ease you into some of the basic concepts that totally changed my life so you can have a breakthrough too, without making you want to run off screaming in the process. If you've already dipped your toe in the self-help pond, I hope it will say something in a new way that turns light on so you can make some major shifts, create some tangible results, and someday wake up crying tears of giddy disbelief that you get to be you. And if I can save one person from ever having to take their inner child on a play date, I have done my job. My main focus when I started working on myself was how to make money. I had no idea how to make it on a consistent basis and was totally weirded out by admitting that I had even wanted to in the first place. I was a writer and a musician. I felt it was sufficient and quite noble, thank you very much, to focus on my art and let the money part work itself out. That went real well. But I saw so many people doing such sleazy and heartbreaking things to make money. Not to mention those people who were working jobs that were death of a thousand moons boring that I wanted no part of it. Add that to my slew of other crippling beliefs about the unholy dollar and its wonder I wasn't eating out of a dumpster. I finally realized that I needed not only to focus on making money, but that I also needed to get over my fear and loathing of it, and I wanted to start pulling it in. This is when the self-help books started infiltrating my house, and the name tags assumed their mandatory and humiliating post above my left boob. Eventually, I took my credit card debt to unthinkable heights by forking over more money than I'd paid for all my janky cars put together and hired my first coach. Within the first 6 months, I tripled my income with an online business that I created around coaching writers. And now I've grown to a place where it affords me the means and the luxury to travel the world freely while I write, speak, play music, and coach people in all areas of their lives, using many of the concepts I use to so enjoy rolling my eyes at and with which I am now obsessed. In an attempt to help you to get where you want to go too, I'm going to ask you to roll with some pretty out there things throughout this book, and I want to encourage you to have an open mind. No, on second thought, I want you to yell it in your face about it. Stay open or else you are screwed. I mean it. That is really important. You've gotten to where you are right now by doing whatever it is you're doing, so if you're less than impressed with your current situation, you clearly need to change things up. If you want to live a life you've never lived, you have to do things you've never done. I don't care how big a loser you may or may not perceive yourself to be right now. The fact that you're literate, have the luxury of time to read this book, that you're literate, not illiterate, have the luxury of time to read this book and the money to buy it puts you way ahead of the game. This isn't something to feel guilty or whiny or superior about, but it is something to appreciate, and you should make the decision to really go for it. Know that you are extremely well poised to knock it out of the park and share your awesomeness with the world, because that's what really this is all about. We need smart people with huge hearts and creative minds to manifest all the wealth, resources, and support they need to make their difference in the world. We need people to feel happy and fulfilled and loved so they don't take their shit out on themselves and other people and the planet and our animal friends. We need to be surrounded by people who radiate self-love and abundance so we don't program future generations with gnarly beliefs like money is bad and I'm not good enough and I can't live the way I want to live. We need kick-ass people to be out of struggle and living large and on purpose so they can inspire, so that they can be an inspiration to others who want to rise up too. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to believe that we live in a world of limitless possibilities. I don't care if you have a lifetime of proof that you can't stop shoving food in your face or that people are intrinsically evil or that you can't keep a man if you are handcuffed to his ankles. Believe that anything is possible anyway. See what happens. What do you have to lose? If you try getting through this book and decide it's a bunch of crap, you can go back to your sucky life. But maybe if you put your disbelief aside, roll up your sleeves, take some risks, and totally go for it, you'll wake up one day and realize you're living the kind of life you used to be jealous of. I hope you enjoyed that. And I really, really hope you like listen to the message of Jen Sincero. She also has a book just about making money and like how to attract that to you. But the law of attraction is real, and how you speak to yourself affects you. So your inner thought and whatever you say to yourself will come true. So pump yourself up. Know that you can do anything, and everyone is special in a way, and you can have limitless possibilities to affect and change the world. So I hope that this makes you feel good today. I know it made me feel good reading it, and I think I'm going to sit and read a little more of it. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'm sending you all the good vibes and love.